Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do first impressions on a couple knives for you. I was thinking about doing disassemblies, but I actually just traded this knife, so we can talk about that. And this one, I don't know, I just got it yesterday, and I got that one 2 days ago. I kind of want to just see how it breaks in. So the thing, let's talk about this knife first then, all right? This is the Kizer Cormorant. This is an exclusive with White Mountain Knives, who are awesome people. If you haven't checked them out, go do so. WhiteMountainKnives.com. You can use my code Lefty10 for 10% off your order and free shipping in the US. Now, I think my last video actually was the unboxing of this, and that was Christmas Eve. Today is Christmas Day, so my kid's napping right now before we go to my sister-in-law's for dinner. And I wanted to talk about this knife and why I think it's cool, but also why I think it's kind of a no-go for me personally. So, you could probably already tell, but anyway, it has grown on me aesthetically. I think it's kind of cool looking. I hated the G10 and plasticky feeling one with the white and the black and the X's all over it. I saw that the version 2 has lines now, I think, instead of X's. I would have much preferred that. I did find out that this version does have the V2 upgrades, whatever they may be. So it does have those, which is good, obviously. But this one has micarta, which is awesome. It's kind of, I believe, a brown canvas micarta. Feels really good. I do like it. And it has 3V blade steel. So it's very interesting to me because I haven't really handled 3V. I had it on my Demco 8020 that has now been passed around and sold a million times. I think Rusty Knife Lover has it right now. I think he owns it. And I'm pretty sure that, the original one was 3V because I couldn't get 20 CV. And then the second one I had was 20 CV. So, and I didn't really use that much. I sold it pretty quick because I got it and then I loaned it to Kyle, D2M Knives and Gear, and he offered to buy it basically immediately. So I sold it. So this is my real first chance to carry and use 3V extensively. We'll see how that goes because I have some big issues with this knife. You can see I'm fidgeting with it and I'm able to do it, but I'll get to the downsides. So I like the deep carry clip. The screws are not... Oh, yeah, they are they? Yeah, they're kind of button head screws. They stick up a little bit. Let's zoom in. They stick up a little bit, but they're pretty good. I did carry this last night to Christmas Eve dinner and didn't have a problem with it. This micarta's finished very nicely. It's dead nut centered. I hate the X's. The button is interesting. It has this sort of grid pattern on it, which gives you some grip on it, but I don't really think you need that, but maybe it's just part of the design. There's your flipper tab. So you have a back flipper style. You have a front flipper style, and then you have the hole for deployment, thumb, reverse flick, and then you have the button. So you got a lot of stuff going on here. Let me get the blade out. It has a freaking ridiculously nice hollow grind on it with these beautiful satin grinds. I mean, Kizer killed it on this one. I got to give them credit where credit is due. I know I give Kizer shit a lot for rattly knives and the budget stuff with N690, but I think this was $110. I believe it's sold out right now at White Mountain Knives. But this is a beautiful blade, guys. Beautiful. Love the spine. Love the jimping up here. Do I love this sort of like mohawk hole and everything? I like the shape of the hole. I don't like how it kind of comes up. Because otherwise, I think it's a really nice looking blade if it was just sort of straight across. Now, I know that would affect the fidgetability and everything, but let me zoom back out. So I'm thinking if they had just done this straight, right, and then left it, maybe added studs or not had the hole. I know that's blasphemy for me because I love the hole for deployment, But I think it might have helped this knife because the hole is sort of my problem. The detent on this knife is absolutely atrocious. And I did check with White Mountain Knives, and I asked. I said, I think I might have got a defective one because the detent's just so light. I mean, look, on the reverse flick left-handed, it's just, you know. And somebody, I forget who it was, said maybe it's because you're left-handed when you're pushing off the spring or something, sort of like pushing off a detent. But even right-handed, I mean, it comes out a little bit better, you can see there. Like, if I just break the detent, so to speak, it comes out to, like, there. And lefty, I mean, it's pretty much the same. I'd say I might feel a little more pressure one way over the other. That would mean that the lefty thumb flick would be better than the righty one, which I don't notice that. So anyway, that's my big problem with this, is this light detent. Now, the way they dialed the flipper tabs, they have them up above the pivot. So it's kind of like a Vero style where any sort of pull and you're really going to get good leverage to fly it out. So I like the flipper. Front flipper, obviously, you don't need a strong detent for that. I don't know what is going on with my lighting. Hang on. See if that helps. It's really bugging me. So the flip is fine. Sorry, that was me. I do have moisturizer on my hands right now. I'm trying to get them back to normal. The front flick works pretty well, and then the thumb flick works pretty well as well. The button's pretty good. It does stick out a lot when it's engaged, which you'd think would sort of, you know, like right there, I just disengaged it, but not enough to make it fall. So I don't know if that would be an issue. And that's left-handed. The only time I've really had issue with that on a button lock is on the Hoback Sumo, where I was cutting zip ties, and as a lefty, look where my thumb lands, right on the button. So I went to pop a zip tie, pushed the button in, and then when it popped the zip tie, the blade swung around and slammed down on me. Now, I could obviously be careful and hold it like this, or just not cut zip ties with this knife, but I just wanted to point that out. That was left-handed. If you did that right-handed, you'd probably be fine. I mean, you might depress it like that, but I don't know. It's sort of a use case thing, and you don't have to hold the knife like this to pop a zip tie. You could do it sideways instead, or, you know, do whatever you want to. So yeah, like, I like it because that flip is good, and the button lock is satisfying. I mean, you push that button, and it drops down, and it makes a cool sound, sort of a ting on the close, right? I didn't notice any play in any direction, which is awesome for it to drop like that. And again, the thumb flip's good, but this reverse flick is just so sad to me. Like, I have to remember to flick it, like, give it my all, or I got to climb to the top of the hole, and then I get a pretty good flick if I go to the top of the hole. But if I go down here, it's just sort of it's kind of like, I got it to flick, you know? It's okay. The thumb flick feels better because I think you're at the top of the hole most of the time. I don't know what is going on with this lighting, man. It might be the color of the scales, to be honest. Both of these are kind of dark. Let's see what happens when I do this. Yeah, I think it's the color of the scales, because put something different out. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry about that, guys. I don't want to mess with it right now. Ergos are good. I actually really like the ergos on this. I feel good up here. I feel good back here. I got, you know, I'm kind of locked in on the Mohawk, and then if I choke up, I can get in the Poon Spoon. And again, this thing has a beautiful blade on it. This hollow grind just looks fantastic, and it is ground extremely well. They did an excellent job. I mean, here, maybe if I keep this paper out, it'll help. They did an excellent job, and, you know, they got internal milling in there. Like, you know, it's an exclusive to White Mountain. I love White Mountain. And again, anything but the lefty reverse flick is pretty good. So I think maybe I just need to deal with it and just be like, okay, you're going to have to do a strong flick left-handed. But I just don't understand why they wouldn't have dialed up the spring in there. Like, what would it have affected? This would have been better. You know, it wouldn't have been, it didn't need to be better, but this would have been better. The front flip might have been a little better because it's not like you can't easily fail it like this. So it could have been better with a stronger spring. The thumb flick obviously would have been a little better. And then you would have had a really good reverse flick, which is kind of, if you're going to put a hole on a knife, you're kind of expecting people to do that, right? But I think the way they looked at it was, you know, people are going to like it for all the other deployments and they'll just live with the hole. I don't know. But it's just so easy to fail, and it's kind of a struggle for me to want to have a knife in my pocket where I'm like, okay, when I go to flick this, I got to really flick it because otherwise it's going to fail, right? So anyway, those are my thoughts. They're obviously very jumbled and not very coherent, and I apologize for that, but it's kind of what first impressions are for, right? Just telling you where I'm at with it after a day or so, and that's where I'm at. I'm glad it's my Carta and 3V and a White Mountain exclusive. I'm glad this blade is absolutely gorgeous and very useful with that hollow grind. Comes out to an excellent tip. I'm glad the ergos are really good. I'm glad the action on the close is good and the flippers is good. I just want a better reverse flick. That's really kind of my only downside. The only other thing would maybe be the size to where the hole is. I know that sounds weird because, like, here's my Malibu. And obviously, whenever you have a button lock come out, it gets compared to the Malibu. It's just how my brain works. You can see they're not much different. I think this is 3 1/4. This is 3.35 in terms of blade length, or 3.3. So you get a little more blade on the Malibu. Similar blade shapes, really, if you took off that top portion. Very similar all around, right? Different handles, obviously. I love the ergos on the Malibu. But you can't choke up. You can on this. But with the Malibu, I flick, and then I'm right there by the button. It's just switching to this right now, just, oh my God. I just feel like, wow, I just went from budget to a premium knife. That's just how I feel right now doing that. That was a nice little science experiment right there. But you see how it just flick and drop, flick and drop. And with this, it kind of works with the flipper. Flip, drop, flip, drop. It's got some stick, but it doesn't bug me at all. Flick, drop. But when you do the reverse flick, it's weird left-handed because now I'm all the way like ready to grip the knife and I'm all the way over here. I got to back up to do this. I don't know. I feel like maybe where my hand lands, I'm just not getting the leverage I need for a solid flick. So I really notice the detent. Whereas some people maybe with smaller hands, they're just getting better leverage on that flick, if that makes sense. So I don't know if try a different finger or something, an index finger. No, it's just an adjustment, and I don't know. You can't flick the Malibu really, like you can, but I'll fail it if I try again. That almost sucked. Almost stabbed myself. I used to be able to do it. I don't know what happened. So anyway, I love the Malibu. It's not quite as good as the Malibu, but it has all these other options, and I get it. I like it. I do. And I want to like it more, and that's my struggle, guys. But I've spent 14 minutes on this knife, it seems. So I want to like it more, so I wish it had a stronger spring, if that makes sense to you guys. I'm not trying to hate on this knife. Like, that's the thing. I want it to be good because I like it. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm noticing now it's kind of rattly. A little bit of movement. Detent lash, but it's kind of inherent with the button lock. Usually that means you're going to have, there's nothing there. Like the Malibu, they did a great job not having there's no play in there. Now, I think as you use it and stuff, that spring wears in and, you know. But anyway, that's the Cormorant, I guess version 2 exclusive with White Mountain knives and my Carta and 3V. yeah, we're going to see, guys. We're going to see how this goes. I'll carry it. I'll give it the review. I wanted to take it apart, but I feel like my new theory is I need to kind of like experience the knives as is, review them, and then do the disassembly, because it seems more fair that way. If I'm getting a knife out of box and tuning it to what I want, does that help you guys who don't do that kind of thing? Like, you're probably just going to take it out of the box, and that's how it's going to be, right? Unless you need to make minor adjustments. I know some of you do what I do, but I don't know. So that's my theory, and then I can do the disassembly afterwards if I feel like I need to. Like I did with the Osprey. I thought that was a good way to do it. So anyway, Cormorant, I like it. I like it. I want to love it. I want to love it. That's my point. All right, apologies. Giant Mouse Ace Sonoma version 2. Guys, that paper's working too. Giant Mouse Ace Sonoma version 2. Dead nut centered, Riot made knife, reversible clip. Both of those had a reversible clip, by the way. I like that. Deep carry, wire, budget clip, same kind of thing. And excellent flipper tab. Not like my style, but it works really well. Riot dialed the D10. Another knife with excellent grind lines. I'm not going to lie. I may like the grind better on this Kizer. So that says a lot for Kizer. They really did a good job on this knife. This thing is super slicey. It doesn't look super thin, right, in terms of blade stock. We can actually check if you want. Let's see, 0. Then we can check back here or something. 0.14. Well, that makes me feel better because that's the stock I went with on my knife, or we went with for Devo. Let's see what the Cormorant. Cormorant says 0.12. Let's get it. Where should we get it? That it's going to, up here maybe? Yeah, I'm getting like 0.12, 0.11. And I suck at the behind the edge thing, so like I don't know how anybody does this, but we could try it. I don't even think I have. Yeah, the caliper doesn't even go out to a small enough number. Just 0.01. We know it's sub 20, whatever. All right, anyway, sorry. Super thin, but I expected that blade stock to be thinner, but the way they ground this is just absolute butter, guys. I mean, even a guy who can't cut paper just shredded paper. So that's awesome. I'm still going to leave this out because, you know what, I'll get a new one so it doesn't look like shit here. These are all the other halves of shipping labels I've cut. That's how I save them for cut tests. Yeah, so in the unboxing, I said the micarta felt kind of smooth, and I didn't love it as much as the American style. I have to take that back a little bit because I really do like the feel of this now. It's taken some of my oils, you can see here. I've only had this 2 days. I mean, carried it twice. I think I carried it after I got it for like half a day, and then I carried it another half a day. So, like, hasn't been crazy. But it's taken on some oils. It feels different to me than the micarta you see on, like, the F5.5s. Because I actually like this color green a lot better than the green they used on that. That looked like brown puke on that knife. I love that knife, but I just didn't like the green micarta on it. Which kind of looks brown in a lot of cases. There's no mistaking this for brown. It's green. This does come in 2 versions, so you can get this one in green micarta with brass accents and a satin blade, and then you can get natural micarta with stonewash. And I don't know if it's copper accents or titanium. I didn't pay attention to that when I got it because I actually was surprised it had the brass because I hate that. It just weighs the knife down unnecessarily. Just use titanium. It still adds a little weight and it looks better. You could have anoded it this color. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. This knife is $195, which is pretty damn good. I mean, I have to say, I can recommend this knife. Having not done the full review, I can tell within a day of how good a knife is pretty much these days. Especially because I've handled a lot of Riots and giant mouses, and I know what to expect and everything. If it were something I didn't have experience with, I wouldn't jump to recommend something. But since I traded this already, I want to at least put that out there for people who are interested. I like the guy who told me to get this in the comments, and then I bought it. And honestly, I plan to do the full review. I didn't plan to sell or trade. It wasn't one of those where I got it and I was like, oh, I don't like this, I'm going to sell it, right? That's not what happened. A buddy reached out, and there was an offer I just couldn't really refuse. So I traded this and another knife, and I'm getting a Strider SMF, which looks badass. I'm not a Strider guy, so that'll probably be up for trade or sale pretty quick. But it was kind of a no-brainer for me to do the deal. It's not that he's not getting the value. It's just that Striders are pretty wanted. They're good trade bait. So I just think it makes sense. And as much as I can recommend this and I really, really like it, I could always just buy another one tomorrow. It's not something that I would be like itching to carry all the time. It doesn't have a way to flick it. It's flipper only. If it was, if I had a way to flick it or something, I'd be, much more likely to want to keep it in the collection. But again, this doesn't make it a bad knife or anything, right? I really like it. The action is incredible. The detent, dialed. It flies out of there. You can't fail it. I'm really becoming a fan of these downswept flipper tabs. They just work so well. The ergos are fantastic. I mean, in this back grip, it feels exceptional. You can choke up into this choil, and you have so much blade to work with and so much control of it. And you're right on that jimping in either grip. It's just really excellently thought out. You get a pretty good tip. It's a crown spine. I almost want to call it semi-crown, but I think it is crown. We can zoom in for some details. Here's my card I was showing you. There's that wire clip. I'll have to switch that over for my buddy. There's the brass backspacer with a little jimping on it. You have the brass pivot collar. I did take this apart, like right when I got it, to try to put skiffs in. I will say, if you're thinking about it, they don't fit. I tried I think they're 5mm, so I tried the 5mm 1/16 Gillians and skiffs. Neither fit. I think they're just too wide. The action was just too slow. Like, technically it fit, but it made the action worse, so there's no point. And then I tried the 1mm size bearings, and those were too small. So it was the same problem, sort of, just opposite. So I put the stock ones back in. I just flipped them so they were facing the blade, and that seemed to do the trick. Got a lot better action, and we don't have any play, rock, or anything. Beautiful belt satin from Riot. Just absolutely gorgeous. Oh, it does have the steel on here. Ace L-Max. Obviously, it's a giant mouse. It's a titanium liner lock. That lockup, oh my god, man. You are not going to mess with that lockup. Look at that. Geometry just looks so good. Very good access to the lock bar. Somebody asked me about that, how the access is, and it's beautiful. You just get in there, and it slides over. There's no stick or anything. They carbonized the lock face. There's no lock bar insert, but they carbonized that titanium, and the action's incredible. Again, left-handed, easy flip, liner lock, no issues with the lock bar. And then access, again, you just slide it over, and she goes down. So really, really well done. There's your clip. Here's the back. Here's your centering, dead nuts. Here's the spine. And here's the back of the knife for you if you wanted to see that. So let's zoom out, and I'll show you the action. So again, it flicks great, and then on close, it drops. Trying to be careful because my nail is, oh, Jesus, man, I'm going to cut myself. I'll show you the issue with my nail and why I do what I do, and people always wonder what the hell's wrong with me. That right there is a crack. So that originally started with a Chavez 229 that I dropped to my nail, and it literally went through the nail and it started bleeding. So that's when I started using super glue on my nails just to protect them from that, and so I could still have the knives drop. And I've tried super glue, I've tried liquid Band-Aid, I've tried super glue and baking soda. So like this can all come off. This is just super glue and then material from my gloves that got caught in there while it was drying because I put it on right before I had to leave like an idiot. So I just need to get this off. But anyway, that's what that is. And then the other day it happened again, and that's why I started doing it again. I did find some stuff I'll test out, and if it works, I'll let you guys know. It's basically supposed to make your fingernails bulletproof. Lewis told me about it, Addicted to Knives, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, drops to your nail really well, and then, man, is it smooth. You can see I'm barely shaking, and it is wanting to go home. If you give it just the slightest little whoosh, it'll go down. Again, left-handed, just break the detent, which I've never noticed the detent. So it has a detent ramp, I believe, and it's right, where is it? There. So pretty early in my opinion, and then it breaks right there. And then you got to deal with the detent ball ramp. So that can happen there, but you get past it, boom, shakes down. We can take a look and see if we can see that detent ball ramp. Can we see it? Yeah, it's very slight, but you can see it right there. There's a little bit of a cutout on the tang. Don't know how well. There you go. Can you see that? If you know what I'm talking about, you can see it's right there. So that's what helps the ball get over and onto the blade on close and then slide down. So, yeah, this knife's excellent, guys. It's a great size, 3.5-inch knife. I'll put it up next to the size comparison Axon. There you go. You could tell my cars are different. This is linen, that's canvas. But pretty much the same size on the blade. Maybe it is shorter than 3.5 inches. Or the Axon's longer. I don't know. Let's find out. This video is way too long already, so let's just make it longer. From there to... Come on. We're on the scale there. To 3.4, 3.5, something like that. Was I wrong about the Axon? I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong about the Axon. Yeah, 3.5. So, I don't know. It's deceiving sometimes. They measure it from, right here, the scale to the tip, or up here, the scale to the tip, or where it humps out to the scale to the tip. Does it really matter? No. There's a choil in there, so you're only getting, 3.25 cutting edge. It feels like a lot, though, guys. Really feels like you have a lot of blade to work with, kind of like the Axon. I really like that. So, yeah, that's the Ace Sonoma. I want to do a pretty detailed first impressions on it because it's gone. You know what I mean? I don't have it anymore. I got to send it off. I got to reverse the clip back, so I'll do that now while we close this out. Yeah, I really like it. I can highly recommend it. To the guy who told me to get it, definitely worth it, dude. He did tell me if I didn't want it, he would buy it. I just, I got the trade offer randomly, and I couldn't turn it down, man. It just was too good. But you can get these directly from Giant Mouse and retailers, I think. Giant Mouse has Sezzle, if that helps at all. River's Edge Cutlery and DLT Trading, I believe, carry Giant Mouse. They also have a Sezzle feature or something like that. Obviously, you don't have to do that. I'm just saying if that helps with getting it sooner rather than later. But if you were wondering if I like the knife, would recommend it to anybody, lefties or righties, yes, I can recommend it to both. You just have to know that it's flipper only. You're not going to get a flick at all. You should be good in terms of detent. Riot is usually very consistent. I will say, as of late, they have been a little bit more varied than they used to be because they're doing so many more projects right now. So hopefully that doesn't become an issue. But these knives, well, this one anyway, feels really good. So highly recommend it. Excellent cutter, excellent everyday carry. Very thin, carries very well. Doesn't quite go to the butt end, but I mean, you got a little bit of knife sticking out and you're good to go. So yeah, cool knife. Giant Mouse, Ace Sonoma version 2, and the Kizer Cormorant White Mountain Knives exclusive. You'll see more on that one. So that's it, guys. Thank you for sticking with me through this long one. I love you all. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.